Good morning. Day 2. Dad's changing some field cultivator shovels, getting ready to go. Somebody's going to ask this as soon as my video from yesterday goes live, so we're going to go find out. Soil temperature gauge. We're going to go out here. Dad worked some ground right here by the farm yesterday, and it's similar to what we've been planting in, so we're going to stick a thermometer in the ground and see what the soil temperature is. I bet it's warmer than we think. We'll give it a couple minutes, or a minute, see how much that drops. .57 degrees, and it is dry. And we're a solid 2 inches in the ground there, maybe 2.5. 55, 57, somewhere in there. That's good. It'll warm up more today and tomorrow, and then it'll be able to buffer our cool down that's coming on Sunday and Monday before it warms up again. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. You want 50 degrees? 50 degree soil temperature at 2 inches is kind of the ideal for planting corn. You don't want it to be below that. So we're in pretty good shape here. All right, we're working on some stuff here this morning in the office, some things that I should have had done and didn't. Well, couldn't have done exactly, but laminating some of my sheets so that, I don't have to have the paper copies that are just blown away. And we're going to get this monitor mounted. I'm finding the stuff necessary to do that. Yeah, so we're going to get to planting, but it's going to be just a few minutes here. New command central. All right, so I was going to put some more fertilizer and stuff in. There's more in there than what the monitor says, which is slightly concerning. Either I didn't get it put in right, or I don't know, but we can plant about 25 acres yet. And this field that we're going into, or we're working in, I've got some of my trial stuff going on back there later. And so if I can get the planter empty-ish before we get to that, we're going to go do that. So we're going to go plant 25 acres, and then we'll come back up and fill. Our tractor got dirty yesterday, so we're going to rinse it off real quick. Mostly I was concerned about windows, but it'll make it look better in the pictures and the videos today. Hope rock to work. Zach is wearing your shirt today. Now that is how you start your day out right. Cleaning the tractor, and look at that griot stuff is amazing. Water beads right up, just beat it right off. So it'll be dry by the time we get back there. No, probably not. We'll probably have water spots now, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna go anyway. Where did Brock go? He was coming with me. All right. Well, corn going in the ground, fertilizer going next to it. We're on it. My row cleaners run even less now than they did before, which I think is okay, but like when there's clods, or this field had volunteer weed in it, you can see a little bit of this stuff down here, it just kind of knocks it out of the way. So we don't plant through it. That's the point. That's what we're supposed to do. Knock down any ridges, but I don't want it to make trenches, which I was doing a little bit too much yesterday. So I'm pretty happy with that. Everything else seems to be working okay. We're doing an update on the iPad to try and get our software to work there. This is nice just to be able to see another page. It's not as functional as I thought. I thought I'd be able to page through stuff up here, but I can't. I can just move one back and forth. There's a button right here. See, I can swap them. So, better than nothing, somewhat helpful. Hopefully when I get the Connect Mobile running over here, it'll work even better. Okay, we're going to fold up and go fill up now. We should be about out of fertilizer and seed, to be honest. I don't know how much is left, but we should be about out of both. And we're right up to the lane here that goes up to the farm. I'm putting a high management trial in here, one of those things I was going to work on with my agronomist. And we're going to use different hybrids for that. We're going to split the planter, and I want it to be right kind of where we're at now. And so we're going to go up. We're going to get enough fertilizer to finish this field. And then those bags, and I don't know if we'll put those bags in, clean out, put the bags in, or if we'll try and plan out some of the, I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'm taking my time and I'm screwing around with stuff a little bit more, and part of that is because I can go so fast. I don't have to be in that big of a hurry. Part of it is because it's still very early and I don't have to be in a big hurry. And part of it is because, well, I want to do this right, and we're going to make sure that all my trials and stuff are lined up. And it's the 13th of April, so I have time to do it. If it was Memorial Day weekend, I probably wouldn't mess with this and we would just go, but it's not, so. Oh yeah, we're about out of seed. There's a little bit in there, but not a ton. We may not have even made another round, especially given how much, well, there's not much fertilizer back there, and there's not much fertilizer on this tank. All right, everything's good. So this is going to take me a little while. We're going to screw around with cleaning stuff out and putting our split hybrids in and do my trial. I got to go look up my notes to make sure I know exactly what we want to do here. We're doing a high management and a standard practice kind of thing. One of the things we're going to do in the standard practice is leave the in furrow out, not just turn that pump off, I think, and then in the high management we'll add that kind of, yeah. I told him when we were planning this stuff, I said, you know, a lot of the things that I do would be considered high management anyway, right? This is a standard practice, so we're modifying a little bit. All right, we've got seed in the planter, but we've got to get fertilizer yet. But Phil is getting ready to go plant beans. I got to go down there and show him where the beans that we've got treated are, so that the right beans end up where they need to be. All right, I got Phil situated. He's got beans going in the planter right now. I had to send him a setup file for the tractor so that all of his information was there. So that is done. And we are getting our planter loaded up. We got seed, we got in furrow. We're loading our 2x2 right now. When we're done with this, we're gonna go plant for a few minutes, and then we're gonna come back and load more seed. We'll have enough fertilizer to do quite a bit more than what we're gonna have seed for. All right, I believe we are ready to go. Yeah, should have a little over 1,200 gallons. I put 1,200 in, we had a little bit left. All right. I feel good about stuff and how things are working. We're getting the right amount of fertilizer on, I'm pretty sure. And everything seems to be pretty close. The thing I don't like is our leaks. It's not good. Not good, not good. All the valves are closed, so it's only leaking out what's in the hose here, but I don't like it. Also, usually we put water in these two tanks, but because of all the different fertilizer products that we're using, we've got 28 in that tank, we've got ATS in that tank, we've got our 721-3 in that tank. We had to put 1034-0 in those two. So I'm trying to get one of them empty so we can use it for water, but in the meantime, we've got water over here, but it's not tied into our other pump. We've got a separate pump for the water. And so what that means is I can't flush all my lines. Usually last year I would run water through right at the end so that there was no fertilizer left in the lines. It was just water, but I can't do that. So anyway, it's time to go plant, and we've killed enough time here this morning, so let's go. Back to planting. We should be able to do about 20 acres with the seed that we put in. And like I said, we're screwing around with plot kind of stuff here today. So the idea here, like I said, is the high management versus standard practice. We're doing a split planter side by side, so we'll have 24 rows of each variety alternating across here. And then we're gonna split it in the middle, and half of it we're gonna do our additional sprays, nitrogen, all of that kind of stuff. The other half we're just gonna do kind of the normal bare minimum sort of, but we'll make it work. Anyway, we're moving again. Can't even make one round before we gotta stop and clean up the neighbor's junk. Oh, we're cruising. We definitely don't have enough power to go much faster.
We're going downhill.
We're going downhill. We're gonna go uphill and we're gonna slow down, but it's okay. We're covering ground. This is fun. Oh, almost out of seed. I knew that was going to happen. How many acres have we done? 87, yeah, 15. Okay. We're out of seed. We planted right at 20 acres, which is what we were supposed to have, so that is good. We're going to go load up, and I'm going to do some math here and figure we got enough to plant the rest of this field, and then we got a little bit more of the first field that we did yesterday, the stuff right behind the barn, in front of the kind of waterway area there. So we're going to load up and plant that stuff out. That'll at least be a little bit better run than what we've done here. Should be 40 acres? Nah, it's not that much. 30. It's going to be another short one. It won't take very long. Eventually, we're going to get to a spot where we can plant for longer than an hour at one time without having to stop and fill. I don't know when that's going to be, but eventually it will happen. Seed for 34 acres, 33 acres. That should do it. And we've emptied a box. We're 60 pounds short, but I've got some bags over there. That should work. I'm telling you, filling and roading, that's all we're going to do. Way more time filling and roading than planting. It's my own fault though, because I'm not willing to just fill it up and go. I got to do it right, or the way I think is right. Complicated way. Anyway, we should have enough in there to finish what we have started at this point. So that's good. The problem is, the next field is 36 acres. We're going to basically do the same thing again that we're doing right now, and still only plant for a half an hour. This is fun. It's I don't quite know how to describe it. I mean, it's really cool that we can cover acres as fast as we are. It's frustrating that I can't get more done because I'm spending so much time screwing around with filling and small stuff. But I feel like I'm getting a grasp on the monitors. This is the one thing that concerns me yet. For some reason, the down pressure is not super consistent. I mean, for the most part, our contact and our ride quality is decent. It's just we have excessive downforce on a few rows and it keeps jumping all over the place. I don't know why that is. I've asked them. We're waiting on some answers there. But everything else looks good. Our 2x2x2 system is working well. This one is our in furrow. We've got this here showing me that, and then I've also got this that's showing me the individual row flow on that, kind of like a flow meter. So I'm happy with that. You know, everything else is working. We're minimal slip, and we're working the heck out of the tractor, but that's to be expected. So, and we are covering ground at 50 acres an hour. We're almost got 100 acres of corn planted. So, yeah, we're good. I'll feel better when we have more planted than what I could have had done with my 16 row. We're not there yet. At this point, I could have had more done with my 16 row if we would have started yesterday, because I had it all set up and knew what I was doing, and I wouldn't have had to screw around with it all day. So I would have gotten easily 100 acres done yesterday, and I'd be 100 acres into it today already. So we're not there yet, but we'll get there quickly. Doing some endrows here along these trees. This is where Dad spent a lot of time last summer when this was wheat, cleaning up the edges and stuff and really pushing stuff back. That corner used to always be really, really wet, and you can tell there was a spot that was just a little soft there, but nothing like what it usually is. So he made a world of difference there. That's good. We finished up our back field, and we are now working in this little piece behind the barn. It's technically the same as that field that we planted yesterday, or part of it. This is where I had my corn growers entry dryland 2 years ago, and I'm planning on one again here. So that in mind, over this next round here, is that this may end up being where we harvest our NCGA entry from. I think we're out of seed. My load tank warnings came off about one round ago, and then just now said row 24 is low top. So I had taken some out when we switched varieties earlier, and I've got 4 paper bags sitting by the fertilizer dike with this hybrid in it. We're gonna go get it. We're close. We're just gonna walk instead of driving up there. I put our 2 strong bags in. I had dumped them out of the planter. They were very full, more than normal. Window's dirty. Clean it off a little bit. There we go. I think we're gonna make it. We got a sliver to plant there yet. Well, there. We've got 2 farms done, 2 fields done. Progress is being made. I don't know what we're up to acres wise. I'll look it up here in a minute. But I'm getting more comfortable. I feel like I know how this thing works, and everything seems to be working okay. That, or I don't know how it works and it's not working okay. Either way, it's planting and I don't know any better, so we're gonna keep planting. No, we're doing good. We're doing fine. We're gonna load up again. I need to see how much fertilizer we've got left. We're only going to a field that's 36 acres, so we don't need a ton. Our seed is empty. which is good because we're switching hybrids to 104 day from the 111 that was just in there. So, yeah, we're gonna put that in. We don't need a ton, again, because, well, small field. But once we get that done, then we're gonna load up, and we're gonna load up because we got 140 to do after this 36. So, let's go. All right, here's what I have decided. We put seed in. I should have plenty in there, but I threw a bag on just so we don't run out because I don't want to get that far away and run out of seed. On the fertilizer stuff, I think we're like maybe 10 gallons short in our our in-furrow and maybe 50 in that. So we're gonna tweak the rate just a touch. Call it good enough. I'm not gonna load any more fertilizer on. And we'll see how close we come out. If we run out a little before we're done, maybe we'll leave a planter pass in the field as a check strip to see if our starter's working, kind of thing. I don't know, but we're not going to put any fertilizer on. We're just going to go. This is the first we will have gone down the road with this little train set up here. We're not going very far, but we're still on the road for the first time all hooked up. So there's that. We are going slow because, well, tracks on our tractor. Which, by the way, can I tell you how glad I am that we got this tractor last year and I'm not trying to learn how to run it too? Because if I was trying to figure out how to run a new tractor and a new planter all at the same time with a whole new monitoring system, this would have been so much worse, but not there. So we are going to swing into my seed warehouse because I seem to have misplaced my seed digger tool, and I have more of them there. And also I have Gatorade and pop to fill my fridge in there. We're making a cloud of dust again. You guys know the saying, if you plant in the dust, your bins will bust? We're planting in the dust, so I don't know. I think we're doing okay. I think this is a good thing. I called my agronomist Wade today, talked to him, and said, hey, am I crazy here doing all this early? And he says, no, I really think we're good. So we're going to keep moving today. I did learn something else with this planter. Let me show you. Well, I can't really show you now. But I was planting along the ditch back there, the ends, and it got outside the boundary and it quit planting. And I know that I had the section control set to ignore the exterior boundary, so it wasn't section control shutting it off. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? I had to call and ask and found out that it is the prescription. When you get outside the boundary, it had a 0 rate, and there's a way to change that and put in a default if you don't have a script recommendation what it will use or what it will go to. So fixed that, which is good because when we do the backfield, we're going to run into the same issue. I need to remap some boundaries, but I didn't have time. So maybe after we're done planting, we'll put the GPS on the gator and go map some boundaries, but not going to happen for a little while. This little field that we're in here is all of 11 acres, and will take no time at all now that we have endrows done. Expect to fly right through it. We've got 24 in the backfield there, so we'll knock that out quick. Like I said, we're gonna be real close on fertilizer. We should have enough seed, but that's okay. We own this field. We've owned this field for almost 40 years, if not more, or close to that. I don't know why. It's tiled, but this field is one of our worst. When I do my field ranking sheet, this field has not performed well for a number of years, and I would really like to change that. I don't know. I really don't know what's wrong or why it's been that way, but it's not very productive. And it's not the greatest soil types, but it's not horrible. Planting some endrows here in the backfield, and we've got a curve, a pretty sharp curve actually. But if you look at this little chart right here, you can watch how it changes the flow of the fertilizer. This is the in-furrow from one side of the planter to the other to compensate for the fact that we're on a curve, and now we're curving the other way. So the other side, the outside of the curve plants higher, the inside plants lower. That is cool. The seed is doing the same thing. I don't know how to find a chart to show that with the seed, but yeah, that's cool. So, and we are doing it with auto steer. I just made a new line when I drove the first pass, and now we're following it with the second pass. So it goes so fast. We're almost done already. We got like one more round to make, maybe a half a pass over there. We're about out of fertilizer. It says 6 gallons. I don't know how accurate that is. We'll just watch until our rate's not right anymore, and we'll see how close we get. If we end up around short, we end up around short, and we'll have a test strip. We got 20 gallons there. I mean, 20 gallons should plant 5 acres or 4 acres. That should do it. So, we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna work. I haven't seen any low seed bin warnings yet, so we should be good on seed. Doing the last pass, it's really a partial. We've got 4 rows overlapping here, and it's going to taper down quite a bit when we get back by the woods there. But we got something dragging up here. Let's see what our trouble is. I just noticed it. A rock in our conceal right there. See it? I might have to lift the planter up to get that one out. Got it. Just in the wrong spot. Didn't even break our knife. All right. Good deal. We leased this farm out to some hunters who have conveniently decided to put a blind right there, which is kind of in the way, but I guess it's fine. And they asked us to leave them a path. So we are not quite on the edge of the field. We're staying 8-10 feet off so that they have a path to get back here. I would not do that normally, but they pay us for it. So yeah, it's more profitable than planting corn. All right, another one done. We did run out of our 2x2 fertilizer about halfway up this last full pass. So we got a pass and 2/3 that did not get the 2x2. It's fine. The in-furrow never actually told me that it ran out, and it still has pressure. So I don't think it is quite empty, but there cannot be hardly anything left in that tank. So back to the farm, we're gonna load up. Our seed bins also came on, said they were about empty, so we're basically empty here. And we're gonna load up a full box of corn, and we're going to load up a full load of fertilizer, and we're gonna go plant. We got a 140 acre field. We can't do it in one fill. It won't be enough. So we'll go load up and do it. Actually, I should think about this. We're gonna do it that way. I've got a second hybrid that's going to go in this field. It's a 113 day that we're going to get planted too, but we'll probably won't. Yeah, we'll save that for the end. We'll finish with that, but we may have to skip around a little bit on where we're planting this other stuff and leave some passes for it in the middle of the field. Filling and roading. How many times have I filled today? Feels like a lot. Anyway, let's load her up. Lots and lots here. We're going to put 1,500 gallons of our 2x2 and 500 gallons of our other one. I think that, I don't know, I'll have to do some math, see if that fits. We don't need to fill the tanks completely to the top, and we're going to have to refill anyway. But, yeah, that one was just about empty. Can't be much in there. And this one I know is empty, so we're pretty close on our rates. The in-furrow, well, that field was the low productivity field, low rates. I cut back there, so we didn't put a full 5 gallon on. That's why I had enough. That's, yeah, makes sense. All my stuff is coming out. So I've been trying to replace talc. I feel like the talc is not great. Well, on the corn, I don't think it's hurt anything. On the beans, they say it can hurt the inoculant. So I've got this other stuff. It's from Ag Explorer. It's called Grow Pack, but its use rate is 3 ounces per unit of seed, which is really high. And it is coating the seed. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're coated. It's kind of a micronutrient pack. I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but I thought it was something to try, so we're trying it. But man, the use rate is so high, the stuff just goes everywhere. Okay, we are all loaded up. This is as heavy as this planter will ever be, ever. Because everything is full. We've got a full box of seed in. I mean, we could put more seed in. We will never, ever actually do that. We've got dirty windows, so there's lots of dirt on the tractor weighing it down. We've got both fertilizer tanks on the planter relatively full. About 300 gallons in one and 500 in the other. We've got 1,500 gallons in our pull-behind tank. We're heavy. We're going a mile down the road and we're going slow. We're gonna need some rain just to settle the dust. It's too dusty. I can't see anything. Now it's okay going this way. Going the other way was not so great. But we're doing ends. We're planting. It's all good. It's all good. We're finally done with some end rows. Oh man, dust cloud. I want to get out and check, just dig a little bit. And the other thing I wanted to look at is our wing downforce. It's one of those things that's really cool, but this cylinder right here, it's really cool, but you don't notice it because you don't have to do anything. This cylinder right here is pushing down on the wing out there. One, that helps those row units have enough weight on them to get in the ground, but two, it helps lift some of this weight off of the center section. And that's important, and that's a very helpful thing, but it just does it automatically. We don't have to do anything. So, there is a gauge right here, and I just wanted to look and see where it's at. 1100, something like that. I've been told to set it between 1000 and 1200, so I guess we're pretty good where we're at. There's a knob here. We can adjust it if we wanted to, but I can definitely tell there's a bunch of weight on those outside wings because it's making pretty good tire tracks, you know, more so than what the little bit of weight that's out there normally would. So it's definitely working. Another thing I kind of wanted to look at while Scout got the planter in the ground, we can look at our, we can look at our conceal knives. We're probably really deep, actually. Probably deeper than we really want them. That's got to be 2 inches, every bit of it. Let me dig for a minute. Yeah, we're definitely pushing 2 inches deep, but you can see the band there, the mud from behind it when I got down into it. I don't know that it's a problem. It might make things wear a little faster. You know, I don't know how much of our in-furrow is getting down into a trench. We don't have a defined seat trench there. The dirt falls in as soon as you get past it because everything's so loose and dry right now. Like there's no seed trench sidewall to even destroy at this point. We're extremely dry for where we are, and you know, and it's dried so fast with the weather this week. Just looking at another row. You can see our row cleaners are above the ground except for when there's maybe a clod or something that they catch and they throw them out of the way. So I feel like those are working. We're not leaving big trenches. We've got good down pressure, but I don't think it's excessive. I can move these. I feel like the planter is doing what it's supposed to do. You know, there's our in-furrow band. We're covering it up. It's not above the surface. I'd like to see this stay open and get down there before we cover the seat up quite so much, but what are you gonna do? That's where something like a precision furrow jet would work better, where it's actually in the furrow and kind of holding it open. But hey, I'm happy with it. I really think that the planter is doing a really good job. And our conditions are so good for planting right now that it's hard to say we're not just gonna go like crazy. But it's April 13th. This is the second earliest we have ever planted corn. The earliest, there he was on April 9th in 2012. I don't know if that's a good omen or a bad omen, but we were not so bad in 2012. Like, it was dry, but we still had almost average crops at that time. There. We're planting into moisture. I am really happy with it. 2 inches deep. This planter is awesome. It's doing its job and it's doing it well. You can definitely tell our tank is heavy and we're leaving tracks there, but it's one set of tracks. Yes, there's a planter tire running in this one, but there's no tractor tire and there's no tank tire. This is the one compacted band, and this row is not nearly as affected as it would be if we had a dual-tired tractor. I'm sure of it. I mean, there's no way to not carry the weight. We have to be heavy at some point or we'll never get anything done. I realize that I don't have to pull that tank. We could use what's on the planter and fill up every 40 acres, but the productivity, I mean, that's every 45 minutes, for crying out loud. We just would never get anything done. So it's a trade-off. It's a balance between compaction issues and productivity, I guess. One thing to remember, the drier the soil is, the less it's going to compact. So as dry as we are now, compaction, it's not really a big issue. It's not going to be an issue. And another thing that I did want to address, let me turn first. We got to turn a lot quickly. So, a few of you have made comments or mentioned the video that 6th Gen Farmer did, I think. I have not had a chance to see it. I'll go and watch it when I get a chance, but I'm way behind in all my YouTube stuff because I don't have time. About what he put on his planter, which I have gathered and would assume was a tire inflation system, central tire inflation system. They put on his planter or tractor. I've seen them for both. That's a cool thing. That would absolutely help. Better than tracks? No, it is not better than tracks. Way cheaper than tracks? Yes. Something to look at, maybe for something like this. I don't know. But yeah, that is a pretty cool thing and would certainly help. The bigger the tire you can put on, the lower the air pressure you can run, the less compaction you're going to have. The problem with this style planter is you're very limited in how wide of a tire you can put on because of, one, it fits right between the rows, so you're limited by the rows, but you're also limited by the forks that kind of sit on each side of that tire, holding it in place there. And so, you know, in this particular size tire, I think we're about as wide as we can go without really looking around to seeing what's out there. Looks like the next pass we're going to get to do our first pole dance with a 24-row planter. Yeah, fun things to do with a planter. Oh man, that one's going to be rough. It's going to be almost right in the middle. All right, we're making progress. We're driving because let's get rid of the extra. There, that's where we're working. We started in and did these ends. We came down and we worked up here. Oh, turn. Anyway, we got those side pieces done, and so now we're back to the main part of the field. We'll go back to the end here and we'll get started. This is what this planter was built for. Half-mile long rows, big open field. We're pulling it as fast as we can, and we're cruising, covering ground. Over 50 acres an hour. We do occasionally get up to 9 miles an hour. We are getting lighter. Probably half the fertilizer that we started with. Yeah, maybe a little less than half. So that's good. That means we're lighter. That's good. So we're just keep watching stuff. This is a little concerning. I forgot to put def in earlier when we were at the farm. I think we'll be able to get done. If not, we won't be able to pull the planter anymore when it derates us, so what are you gonna do? We'll go get some. There is almost no wind. You can see the waves of dust just drifting. Like, I can still see dust way over there that's drifted. There's dust way over there. That's all from us. It's that dry and dusty and calm right now. It's crazy. But we're moving. We've got 63 acres almost done in this field. We're doing 63 an hour, 9 miles an hour. Here, let's, just for the fun of it, let's see what happens here. Dial this up to 10. Can we do it? No. Those speeds never actually match, but usually you get within a half a mile an hour of each other. Maybe when we go down this little draw right here, it'll go. We're getting lighter, so everything's easier to pull, so now we can go a little faster. 9.1, 9.3, 9.6, there we go, 9.7, there it is. 10 miles an hour, planting 70 acres an hour. It's insane. Now we're going back uphill a little bit, so yeah. We're gonna dial that back. I like the 9 because that puts us at the 7.5, 8 range most of the time. And I feel like the planter's doing a really good job there. All right, we've been moving. This tank it's not empty, but it's getting down there. We're down to the 350, 400 gallon mark. Okay, right around 400. That's good. That's about what we're supposed to have. That front tank that we put on the planter, the one we added, that's the same product as this. I needed extra capacity. That's why we filled it. But I don't have the ability to draw out of there without opening this valve. So we opened that valve up, and now it's allowing it to gravity feed back into there or suck from there, whatever. When I had, with that electric valve that I have on there that's not hooked up, if I had that, I could just click it from the cab of the tractor and not have to get out and flip the valve, but now we gotta get out and flip the valve. Not a big deal. I should have stopped in the field so we could get a sweet picture with the sunset in the background. I mean, that's not too bad, right? Thumbnail? Right there. All right, we have crossed over 90 acres done in this field. Let's see, what time is it? Our watch dead yet? 9:07. We came, it's not even been 2 hours. It was a little after, I think something to do in there. It was a little after 7 when we got here. We still got some for, there's not 100 gallons in there because it's tipped, but we still got some, so we can still plant for a little while yet. And I think our other front tank is empty. It's gravity fed back, so we can shut our valves so we don't end up sucking any air. So that's what we're stopping for. I think we just ran out of our in-furrow fertilizer, but I'm waiting for the dust to kind of clear before I get out because I don't want to go out in that. It's crazy. We're sitting at 103 acres in here, so it should be about out. Let's see. I just shut the pump off. Not that screen, this one. Yeah, our tank has shown that it's been empty for a minute. I think we were getting a little light on our in-furrow rate, and I think the reason was because I missed a step. On this screen, it asked for a specific gravity. That was set at 1, and I think we were under applying because of that. So I changed it, and hopefully we're better. We'll see. It's a little better. Whew. Dusty. All right, let's go see. Oh. Yeah, that tank is empty. Okay. That one, there's only 100 gallons in or so, and that one seems to be pretty close. Let's head back to the farm. All right, so we did 103 in this field. We were up to 269 acres of corn planted. We were at 52 last night, which means that we have done 217 acres today, something like that. It's 9:30. Can I just tell you guys? This morning, we planted 20 acres when Brock was riding with us, and we didn't plant anything else the rest of the morning. It was 12:30 before we went back to that field. Like, I didn't really tell you that because I was kind of embarrassed by how long it took me to get stuff around, but we were helping Phil. We were doing all kinds of other stuff. We planted 200 acres of corn since 12:30, and that includes 3 different times stopping to fill up, and like, incredible. It's incredible. If we actually had a good day where we just could plant all day, I am 100% certain I could do 400 acres in a day. Like, that's insane. So, yeah, maybe even more than that. I don't know. It's just crazy how fast we can go. And like I said, loading and roading is more than half of our time is spent loading and roading and not actually in the field planting. This planter is going to be really, really nice. Now, we have, what do we got, 103 done here, so we have a little less than 40 to do in this field. We're out of starter fertilizer, or our in-furrow fertilizer. We're not quite out of the 2x2, but we're close, and we're close to being out of seed. Not quite. Can plant maybe another 5 or 10 acres, I would guess, is all. So, we're not coming back tonight, but the plan for me in the morning, okay, let's talk about tomorrow. So, first of all, today is my sister Katie's birthday, so happy birthday, sister. I know she's probably watching this with her son. Yeah, I just wanted to say happy birthday. Tomorrow is April 14th. Tomorrow, Brayson, my middle child, has kindergarten screening in the morning. I'm going. This planter allows me to do that kind of stuff because I can get so much done so fast. So, I will be there in the morning, and I don't know what time I will get to the farm, but when we get there, and we will go plant corn. We're going to finish this field. There's about 37 acres left. That might be all of the corn that we plant. We'll see. I'm debating yet. I am sort of thinking that I want to plant the field that we irrigate. Corn in. I'm thinking that I want to plant beans up there with this planter. And so that field is where Brock has been working. It is almost all ready to go. Not quite. And we could go up there and plant those beans tomorrow. Wouldn't take that long to do 170 acres of beans. It just wouldn't take that long. So we might do that. We might plant another field of corn. I don't know. It's supposed to cool down on Sunday. Like, we're getting closer and closer to the cold front moving through and the rain. And so I'm a little leery of planting corn on Saturday. Tomorrow I'm okay with. Saturday we're not going to plant corn. And we have already got almost 270 acres in. Like, how much corn do we want in on the 13th, 14th of April? This is very, very early for us still. So we are taking a risk planting this. I have yet to see anybody else doing anything around here, but I also haven't really driven around in the last 2 days because I've been, sitting here. So I don't know if anybody else is working or not. I don't really care. Doesn't matter. But I'll plant beans as long as we can plant beans, and we'll try and get a bunch of those acres knocked out. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Successful day 2. We'll see how day 3 goes tomorrow. It's so exciting. Anyway, have a great night.